exactly 12 minutes past 8. This is Smart Means Business. I'm Andrew Abarije, and I'm joined with Falda Kirabo as we're going to be driving through. But of course, before we get into our business update of the day today, let's first of all get inspired, as we believe kickstarting your day without inspiration will definitely be a very motivating factor for you to achieve your set day's goals. Let's get inspired. That is in regards to that. Well, as you get, you have your outlook for the 2025. Now, heading straight into the business update, experts yesterday warned of difficult times ahead. That is ahead for Uganda following the decision by the United States government to halt all the foreign assistance programs across the world. Now, they said that the United States decision could actually trigger job losses and lead to suspension of services in Uganda. That is including the critical areas such as HIV and AIDS and the tuberculosis care, putting many lives onto the line. Now, President Donald Trump's executive order came into force, that was on Friday, and is expected to remain in force for 90 days. It's intended. It's intended for the United States to reevaluate. It's intended for the United States of America to reevaluate the foreign aid assistance programs and also align it to the American interests in many cases and anti-hectical. That's according to what they said, anti-hectical to the American values. Now, we know that the United States of America is the world's biggest international aid donor, spending $68 billion in 2023, according to the United States Department. Now, since 2004, many Ugandans living with HIV and AIDS have actually been depending on the United States support through the president's plan for AIDS relief, that is PEPFAR. Now, in 2024, for example, the United States extended a total of 41 million United States 471 United States dollars, that is about 1.7 trillion Ugandan shillings in budget support to Uganda's health sector, and another 426 million, this is for supported paper activities. Now, according to Dr. Robert Kalyasubala, a senior lecturer and nephrologist and head of the physiology, the head of the physiology department at the Makerere University, he said that the freeze is likely to affect the immunization programs. Now, he said that programs like the Uganda National Expanded Program on Immunization rely on the United States support, the funding, and that is if they are to run the activities. Now, he noted that this is likely to bring problems for the immunization program, adding that diseases the country has actually controlled and are likely to become a very big program. And USAID freeze over 2,000 are likely to face the job cuts, 2,000 victims. Now, on this point, I'm joined with Falda Kirabo as we have a little insight onto this discussion. Falda, very good morning, and I'm very pleasured to have you on the show today, this morning. Hope you're good.
Thank you, Andrew,
Yeah.
and good morning everyone who's tuned in to today's episode of Smart Means Business. So as earlier said by Andrew, that the US under Donald Trump is suspending most of the foreign aid that it is giving to growing countries or just any other countries in general. Now, interestingly, this came in after on the 24th of January, 2025,
Yes.
and apparently the US government issued an executive order suspending nearly all foreign aid for a 90-day period, and this is mainly to conduct a comprehensive policy review, just like you said. But when we look at Trump and his inauguration that recently happened. A lot has changed.
Of course.
A lot has transpired in just that time. And it's, of course, the NGOs and the foreign aid is something to also put into consideration.
Yes.
But besides that, he's also looking into ending citizenship by birthright. Now, this is something that is, of course, constitutional, and it's going to take some time to happen because people have to agree upon what he thinks is right. But this means that if anyone was intending to go and seek probably asylum that side for any reasons, and one of those reasons being pregnant, is that there is a possibility that the child you're going to bear in the United States of America will not be a citizen. Furthermore, he has also suspended the refugee programs that are in the USA. So those people who are going there, these are not even suspended, but these are looking at being scrapped off.
Being scrapped off entirely.
Yes. So besides that, it means that if you're looking into, there's a number of people who have been getting citizenship through, or maybe just settlement in the USA through excuses of refugees, among others.
Exactly.
Yes, it is going to be completely scrapped off. Then there is the external revenue issue.
Yes.
There is a lot going to be impacted on people who are importing goods into the United States of America. On top of that, there's going to be the withdrawal from the World Health Organization.
Exactly.
Now, when we look at the United States alone, it contributes about $1 billion annually to operation of the WHO. So, of course, that is going to impact us as growing countries, or just poor countries, should I say. Now, of course, besides that as well, he's going to, he has already withdrawn out of the Paris Treaty that is looking at climate change and things like that. And
he's actually one of the people that call climate change a scam.
Yes, and of course these are some of the things that are going to be affecting us as time moves on. But of course we have to look at the bigger picture, that being the NGOs that we are talking about today.
The NGOs,
yes.
Exactly.
A number of them are going to be suspended because of the 90-day rule that is going to be looking into the United States revising how much money that they are putting into other economies, so that they can be able to survive. Now, we should be reminded that Donald Trump is not a new name that we should be threatened by, because from time and again, we've known that he's all about making America great.
Great again,
And I think his first strategy was looking at the foreign policies that are being taken up by the United States of America, such as extending a lot of foreign aid to other countries, and maybe probably this is affecting USA in the long run, according to his view, right? But I'm of a view that in your statistics, you said $68 billion, right? Yeah. And a lot of that, I will just talk about the $40 billion that is talked about by most of the press that is issuing this news in the United States. And according to this, $40 billion are being issued by the US annually.
$40 billion?
Yes, just to foreign aid. And predominantly of it, most of it is going to military aid. And then the rest is going to things like helping people eat, those who don't eat. Then also you talked about the strategies of HIV and malaria, as well as tuberculosis. Now, all of those are going to be withdrawn for a period of 90 days. And of course, it gives us, us as people who have been receiving this, specifically Uganda, it gives us a lot to think about what is going to be happening in those 3 months. For example, when you look at the people who are sick, suffering from HIV, stroke, AIDS, and they've been probably getting this medication of the ARVs from these people, and they're not going to be getting it for a specific period of time. And I'm not well versed with people who suffer with this disease, I must say. But one thing I'm certain of is that the change in the medication that they are getting can be able to, will affect them in the long run. They already have weak immunities, and that means that the more that they don't get this medicine, or if there is even a small change, then it's going to impact their health highly. Remember, you say that they also have tuberculosis. They're looking into tuberculosis. And one thing with HIV patients is that they are also having tuberculosis, most of them.
Absolutely.
Because I don't know how that works out. Maybe you know and you care to share.
I'm actually not so much into the health bit of it, but of course, when you have one sickness, it definitely results into another. So you're prone to be, to have a lot. And that's why most of the people, and Donald Trump believes that most of the deaths of the COVID-19 were largely inflated, that even when people died of other sicknesses, it was all attributed to COVID-19. Anyway, what I'm trying to say is that one infection can actually lead you to have makes your body vulnerable for the infection. So that's why we see tuberculosis coming in line, HIV/AIDS coming in line.
Yeah.
But me, this is what I'm going to say in the first place, because I love what Kenya is actually already considering. It is already considering alternative options, and I'm thinking, have we as a country, Uganda, always thought about that such a time would come? Because it is a time to understand that we, African economies, we have the potential, you know, because we do have the ideas, we do have the skills, but the challenge is that how do we leverage on corporations and countries with already established infrastructures to actually push out our potential? And when we had the chance, we didn't use that chance. You know, we're corrupt, we're getting this money and doesn't really get to the intended beneficiaries. We've seen investigative documentaries in Uganda about health centers being established, ghost health centers, you know, all that. So I think this should be a lesson to that. I'm not going to say that, you know, we have the bad times, but I think it is time to reflect that what if one day we woke up and about 60% of our aid partners are not in position to actually support the budget.
Yeah.
So I think we should be looking into that. I'm not going to say I'm going to grieve, because we've already made the mistakes at the end of the day when these funds were available during the Obama times, during the Joe Biden's administrations. But what exactly did we make of? You know, we still have scanners of hospitals not completed and all that. Why don't we talk about that? But why do we focus on this?
Yeah. Of course, you have to focus on it because it will give us a number of answers to the questions that we have in the day and age.
Okay,
but of course, speaking about that, a number of NGOs have been suspended, I must say, and a number of us may not know the organizations actually that are US funded. Now, let me keep you updated on these, and this include the PEPFAR that you actually said, the Presidential Emergency Plan for AIDS Relief. And we have one that is actually global and has been having a lot of impact. If anything, it is always funding everything that has to do with health, education, women empowerment. And that is USAID, the United States Agency for International Development.
Very true.
And it has been previously taking part in a number of things, such as the humanitarian and international development, as well as operating in over 100 countries. Now, it looks at health, education, economic development, governance, and humanitarian aid.
Okay.
Now, when it comes to health alone, it has been supporting HIV, stroke, AIDS, malaria prevention, maternal health, and nutrition. Then when it comes to education, a lot has been being done by the USAID, and that is enhancing literacy, teacher training, and access to quality education. And it has also led to economic growth in the long run because it has promoted trade, agriculture, and private sector development. And when it comes to democracy and governance, it has been the one that has been advocating for human rights and government accountability, as well as strengthening the rule of law. Now, also humanitarian and refugee situations have been largely handled by USAID, and those are some of the things that USAID has been doing in Uganda, as well as other African countries or just other developing countries as well. Now, we also have in Uganda another one that has been previously been US funded, and that is being the Uganda Rural Fund, which was established in 2005, and it has been empowering orphans and women in rural areas, as well as providing education and sustainable development opportunities. Furthermore, we also have the Presidential Initiative on AIDS Strategy for Communication to the Youth, and that is also known as PIASI. Now, these NGOs have been able to achieve a lot from the time they have been established till the time that they have been paused, right?
Exactly.
Which will leave us with the question of how we're going to be able to come back to recover ourselves in this 90-day period. I'm of the view that the 90-day period is just a beginning because they're going to review everything and they're going to actually come down to asking themselves questions of why do we actually need to do this?
Do we need to do this?
Yeah.
Actually, speaking about that, I love this. I feel like we need to have more of this because for so many years, African governments, we've always had this perception of, we demonize the Western world, the International Monetary Fund, the World Bank, for all these being exploitative, with loans with high interest rates, which would take a longer time to pay. But then we have the guts to come and tell these agencies on how they should actually, on what terms they should give us that money. But at the end of the day, when we receive this money, where is it? Where does it go? That's the question. And I don't know why. I don't know why. I think this is Judgment Day for Uganda. That's what I'll say. I'm speaking for Uganda because I'm Ugandan.
Yeah.
I'm not speaking for other African countries, but I'm Ugandan.
Yeah.
But I think that should give us a point because at this rate, once these policies continue, I can imagine, of course, in the short run, it will be hard. They'll be inflationary. They'll have an impact. People will lose jobs. There is going to be reduced foreign inflows. That is going to destabilize the currencies, which is likely to spark off inflation. What happens later? People will get disgruntled. People are going to get disgruntled over the governments. And instead of focusing on Donald Trump, and I think African countries, instead of hating Donald Trump or focusing on Donald Trump, it should come from a place of revising the past time when we had a chance. Because I feel like this should be the center. It shouldn't be about, we're going hard times ahead. We're always good at lamenting and trying to console ourselves. But I think it's not a new story because we anticipated it because he had already threatened these policies and all this. So this is not a threat. So the question is, how do we become self-reliant?
Yeah.
And for how long have we even thought about it and implemented it? It's very evident in our budgets. When we talk about advancing our output in terms of value addition, how far do we go? We talk about it, but we drop it. But I think it's high time the government started to look into the implementation of the development programs. Now we're talking about an economy worth $500 billion. That is the trip. So an economy worth $500 billion is not an economy that is dependent.
Yeah.
How have we reached a place whereby even trade among us ourselves can actually be productive? It can generate incomes that can facilitate government programs when you don't have to rely on the foreign aid. How many times do we have such conversations? That's what I'm thinking. And I'm happy about this. We need more of this.
Yeah.
We need more of this, perhaps. And actually, the ICT minister, that is Chris Beramisi, told a press conference, that is the Uganda Media Center in Kampala yesterday, that they had actually just taken note of Donald Trump's executive order he signed just hours after he took office for a second term in January, that is 20th. And now, of course, Beramisi said that the government continues to build its own internal capacity to sustain the programs and programs funded by the United States and other external partners. Now, the funny thing, what all the governments think is, let's turn the burden to the citizens. The government assured us that 2024, no new taxes. Let's wait and see. 2025, no new taxes. So let's see all these. So this is a taste. This is a taste for the countries. Well, it is exactly 30 minutes past 8. This is Smart Means Business. I'm Andrew Barije with Falda Kirabo driving you through. Now, for this point, let's get into the break. And when I return, we have we shall be having updates coming in from entertainment, Hollywood, the music industry, and so much more. Stick around.